Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for the third day of our Precious Metals and Critical Minerals Conference. The next presentation is from White Gold. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides, and you can view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome David D'Onofrio. He's the Chief Executive Officer and Director of White Gold, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol WHGOF and on the TSXV under the symbol WGO. Welcome back, David.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here to give an update on White Gold Corp. It's a very exciting time. As a reminder, or maybe for a new audience, I'd just like to give a bit of a background on White Gold Corp, which we believe to be a very unique and differentiated gold and critical mineral exploration company. Our projects are in Canada's Yukon, particularly in the Klondike district. This area is infamous for the incredibly rich gold fields, which has to this date seen over 20 million ounces of gold production in placer gold mining, meaning this is just right at the surface. However, it wasn't until just recently our co-founder and partner Sean Ryan was able to go there and crack the code and discover the sources of this gold and other hard rock deposits, and he's been responsible now for discovering millions and millions of ounces of gold, much of which is in White Gold Corp. What is also so unique and special, in our opinion, about White Gold Corp is that Sean, as he realized, what was leading to these discoveries and sort of quote unquote has cracked the code in the Klondike, he brilliantly took that exploration technology and tested an enormous area of land. And from that work, he assembled what is the properties that are within White Gold Corp today. It is a true district scale land package. It's 20 different properties, which covers 300,000 hectares. By way of comparison, that's at least 10 times larger than your average exploration company. To date, we've been successful in discovering 3 million ounces of gold resources so far. It is the highest grade deposit in the Yukon, and it is one of the top 10 highest grade open pitable deposits in Canada. What's so exciting is we believe we are just literally scratching the surface here and are incredibly excited about the upside potential for our project, as well as making more discoveries on our other different properties within the area. Over the course of the past several years, as we've been working with Sean and his team, we've also made many other gold discoveries on some of our other projects, as well as critical mineral discoveries, which should not come as a surprise. The Yukon is widely viewed as one of the most geologically prospective areas in Canada. However, it has not seen the same amount of exploration work like some of the other more prolific camps. In recent years, we've started to see more and more work, and we've encountered within White Gold and other companies in the Yukon, tremendous amount of new discoveries, and that has led to significant interest in the area and what is now widely being viewed as one of Canada's most exciting and up-and-coming mining camps within our area in particular, and as well as other areas within the Yukon. This interest has also gotten the attention of many different major mining companies, which are investing significantly in the area, and in particular within White Gold. We believe that it is this differentiated opportunity, the success of our team, and the upside potential that has attracted Agnico Eagle to be our largest shareholder. Agnico is one of the largest and most highly respected mining companies in the world, and I think that shows as an excellent validation of the types of opportunity that we have within White Gold. So with that overview, I will give some more detail on some of our flagship properties and what we are active doing now, and why we believe this upcoming field season in 2026 can be a truly transformative year for our company. this is what I just touched on now. The other thing I would like to key in here is our team. We have an excellent geological team. It's built on the data and exploration methodologies developed by Sean Ryan, which, as I mentioned, has been so successful in the area. And we've recently complemented that with two other individuals, most notably Dylan Langell. He's joined our team in the middle of last year. Dylan comes from Great Bear Resources. For those who don't know, that's one of Canada's most significant new discoveries in the last decade, which went from grassroots exploration to over 7 million ounces of resource size, was acquired by Kinross. Dylan, we're fortunate to be able to attract someone with that type of pedigree. I think he could have went anywhere in the world, and him coming to White Gold further validates that. We've also recently been able to attract Donovan Pollitt to our team as a strategic advisor. Donovan has a tremendous track record in the mining industry, both on the technical operations side, having run Wesdome, which is a gold producer in Canada, and more recently advising on the investment communities. He's a mining engineer by background, as well as a CFA. So somebody that can really add a lot of value at this juncture in our company as we look to continue to grow our deposits, but also move it down the production path with permitting, which is a really good opportunity and perfect timing with everything that we're seeing in the commodities market and this type of support we're seeing from the federal and territorial governments, which is like nothing I've ever seen before. So it's really the perfect timing. And just complementing that further is the development of other projects, particularly in our district, which I'll just flash that map now, which you can see here. There's another big deposit called the Casino deposit. That is Canada's largest undeveloped copper project. That has received tremendous amount of attention from the federal government as they look to advance the development of their critical mineral projects and secure the supply chain for these types of materials. With that comes funding and infrastructure. And the other big project in our area is the Coffee deposit. That was another Sean Ryan discovery. It's now owned by Fuerte Metals, which is a combination being advanced by Newmont, Pierre Lassonde, and Agnico Eagle. So we're very fortunate to have some of the best mine builders and investors in our area. Again, I think that further validates the opportunity. So if you look here on our map, everything you see in gold or brown is White Gold properties. Again, it's 20 different properties covering 300,000 hectares. It's 40% of the landmass of the area, but it is approximately 85% of the targets. Sean Ryan has used that specialized prospecting methodology that's so successful in the area to curate and hand select what he felt was the best of the best projects. So it's not just a land grab of moose pasture. Each one of these projects has gone through the rigorous protocols that's led to the discovery of all the deposits in the area. And we believe they're all very prospective. We've done a tremendous amount of work on them, and they have either started to be drilled. We've seen a number of very interesting new discoveries. We've built up a great high-grade resource, which we believe has the opportunity for continued growth, significant continued growth, and a number of these projects are now drill ready. So it's really a truly exciting time. And what I really personally love about this company is you sort of have the best of both worlds. You have a very significant deposit with growth potential, plus you have all this blue sky potential on these other properties within the area at a time when there's actually a real audience looking for these types of opportunities. Just to touch on one other thing, as I mentioned, I think this uniqueness of the opportunity is what's allowed us to bring in some of the best and brightest mining investors around. Agnico Eagle, as I mentioned, they've been a tremendous partner financially as well as technically, offering up the opportunity for us to leverage their depth of expertise as we advance our projects. And then on the investment side, we've been able to attract many other sophisticated investors. The other largest investor group is the management and insiders. I think that's a very important fact within any company you may be looking at. You want to have alignment there. And this is something that, ourselves as part of the Power One Capital Group have been doing for over 25 years. And what made us so excited about this opportunity was that it really checked the box for all the boxes for what we look for to optimize our potential in a venture. And just, to touch on a few of those, number one, first and foremost, has always been jurisdiction. I think in this day and age, that is even more relevant. So being in Canada, within the Yukon, which is a perennially top-ranked mining jurisdiction by the Fraser Institute, is somewhere that's great to be. Geological potential, as I mentioned, it is outstanding and regarded by many as one of the most geologically rich areas in Canada that has yet to see a lot of this exploration work. And as it's happened, we're starting to see more and more discovery. We look at this as, the type of potential we've seen in some of the best mining camps in, say, Ontario or Quebec or Nevada. But the fact that we're able to own so much of it at such an early stage is almost, an unheard of type of an opportunity. And we really believe that, that is what sort of attracted Agnico also. So it's like being able to go back in time and owning 85% of all the targets in somewhere like a Val-d'Or or an Abitibi. What would that be worth today? And that's the type of potential we see here. We see literally decades of exploration success potential ahead of us. And then, the balance of our shareholders is within the public flow, and you can see the structure over there. The other thing that really excited us about this project was just the size of the prize. So with owning a true district that's unique, but we've also seen so much success based on the work that's done with the casino, with the coffee, with our Golden Saddle and other deposits. So we really believe that we're elephant hunting, and it's so rewarding to see that as the work is being done, the success rate is some of the best that I've ever seen. And like I said, we're just scratching the surface here. So we think the opportunity ahead of us is amongst the best we've seen. And then finally, it's the supportive fabric of the government and First Nations community. We've seen tremendous support in that regard. In particular, the federal and territorial government have allocated significant amounts of capital to support the development of infrastructure, specifically for mining and exploration. There's main program was called the Resource Gateway Program that allocated hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade roads in the area. This is obviously very important for any mining operation, but it's even more important for a company like White Gold that has a true district scale opportunity. These roads unlock access to all our properties, and that is the main sort of conduit of what will allow for the development of a camp. As the camp progresses and there's development of facilities, say at the coffee project owned by Fuerte and on our projects, now with road access to these other properties, we hope and plan to make many more multi-million ounce discoveries, but should we find something smaller of 3 or 4 or 500,000 ounces, we can now truck those to one of the facilities. And that is what you see, and that is how these camps evolve. So, a small discovery without facilities anywhere nearby is not worth anything. With facilities and infrastructure nearby, those are worth considerable sums of money. And we are just at this inflection point where this is all starting to happen. I think that's what makes this such an exciting time to be looking at this area. And that's why this is attracting so much interest to White Gold and the other neighboring companies in our district, as well as some of these other great success stories in other places in the Yukon, like Snowline, which has made a 9 million ounce discovery, and the Sitka Banyan and some of these other ones. So I will move on to talk about what we're focusing on in 2026 and why we think it's going to be a transformative year. In sort of overview, we will be conducting the largest exploration program in the history of the company. So we have a 3 million ounce deposit that's been based on 90,000 meters of drilling. That is a relatively very small amount of drilling for a project that size. As a comparative, the coffee project just 20 kilometers to the south of us has seen 650,000 meters. So I think that speaks to the type of opportunity. This year, we're looking to do 25 or 30,000 meters of drilling, which is, being designed to significantly increase the size of that deposit. It will be focused on growth, 100% growth potential, on expanding the known zones, which is typically your highest probability type drilling, as well as looking to make new discoveries and following up on some of the other discoveries. This, again, is going to be led by what I believe is one of the strongest technical teams that I've worked with, and they're particularly experts in this area. So we're really, really fortunate to have this team working with us. Here's an image of our deposit. What you'll notice is that it comes to surface. So coming to surface is the best thing you want to see. The other thing that should be noted is the grade. These are remarkable grades for an open pit deposit. As I mentioned, it's the highest grade open pitable deposit in all of the Yukon at approximately 1.4 grams per ton. What's even more remarkable is the ultra high grade nature we've recently discovered and was highlighted by Dylan. And we believe there's tremendous growth potential there. Specifically, the core of the deposit's about 1.1 million ounces at 3 grams per ton, and within that, there's 700,000 ounces at 5 grams per ton. So, this is special. It's a high-grade orogenic deposit, which is unique to the Yukon, and we believe that is type of high grade coming right to surface is going to drive very strong economics. And we're super excited to see what those are going to look like as we release our maiden preliminary economic assessment, which is scheduled to be released sometime in Q2 this year. We're quite hopeful by what we'll be able to see, and knowing that this is in an area with this infrastructure that's coming in with the development of the coffee project nearby. I think that's going to put this on the map as a fairly near-term developable project in a tier 1 area with tremendous growth potential on the deposit itself as well as in the neighboring area. So I'll just flip through. There's a ton of information. You can find all this on our website, and happy to follow up with anything else. Here's just a brief overview, and you see a cross-section of our deposit. This hash line represents the ultra high-grade core. As you can see, it's open in every direction. The limitations on all of our deposits is only by the amount of drilling that's been done. Dylan's also identified 2 sub-parallel zones, which we believe has the opportunity for near-term growth. It's just on the edge of our pit, and what I should also mention is this drilling has all been limited fairly shallow, only to about 450 meters of depth. So there's opportunity for it to grow along strike and along dip, and that is the case for all of our different deposits. Moving along, I'll just give you a bit of a highlight on what we'll be doing this year. So here's this large program. We'll see, as you can see, all of this is open on strike, and this is where Dylan thinks we'll have the best opportunity for growth. Some of our deposits remarkably have seen very little exploration. As the team vectored in historically to the high grade zone, that's where they've been spending most of their time, where we have other opportunities like our ARC deposit here. This is the largest footprint of any deposit we have right now of the 4. It's 1.5 kilometers long, it's about a mile, but it's only been drilled down to about 120 meters of depth. We believe that's going to have the opportunity to be extended to depth, which will be, a pretty efficient way to grow and add significant ounces to our overall project. And then looking down the road in the future, there's also the potential that these different zones will vector and are being fed by the same high-grade source. And this is not uncommon with these high-grade orogenic systems. And, to the extent we identify that, that's going to take this deposit to a whole different level. We're at 3 million ounces now. We're hopeful that this next year will kind of get us to 4, and then in the future to 5. But if this is successful in defining the high-grade source, that's going to be a whole, another level of mineralization, which we could access by underground drilling. So I think that's something people can look forward to this year. The program is designed to meaningfully move the needle. It's the first time in the history of the company we're able to do a program this large. It's the largest program we've ever done, and it's should be very high probability drilling because it's expanding new ore zones, and it will also be following up on several new discoveries we made in the immediate vicinity of our flagship deposit. That had been the focus for the past several years, and all these boxes here you'll see are new discovery opportunities, and we'll be following up on them. There's this new Ryan's trend here where we've made a discovery, we've delineated several 100,000 ounces. We think that can expand. There's another dozen or so targets like that. In addition to that, as we move just north of the river, and you can sort of see the trend here, there's another similar trend like that, which we're extremely optimistic about the potential. The red is the heat map for the soil anomalies. That's what's led us to the discovery, and most of these anomalies look very similar to what's led to the big discoveries in our project so far. So that is something people can really be looking forward to. Again, this is just a cross-section of the deposit. I should note in some of the recent drilling, which will have more results to come in the near future, we've identified some of the highest grades to date. This hole in particular was just released not too long ago. It intersected 3 unique zones of mineralization, which is great to see. It validated Dylan's thesis on this high-grade footwall zone. We're seeing, material up here almost 7 grams per ton. And then coming through the main zone, we did assume that we would be hitting gold, but we were pleasantly surprised to hit an intersection of 50 meters at 6.9 grams per ton. That is an exceptional hole. To have it so close to the surface within our deposit and also validating Dylan's thesis of these ultra high grade subzones is very exciting. So we'll definitely be spending some more time following up on that as well. In addition to the work in and around sort of our flagship deposit, we'll be working on some of our other new discoveries. This one, Chris Creek, it's about 15 kilometers, so 10 miles north of our flagship deposit. It is one of the largest and most intense soil anomalies we've ever discovered on the property. You see here to the right how it compares to some of our other gold deposit. It looks very similar. It's sitting on the same type of structure. We're very encouraged by what we saw there, and we'll definitely be doing more drilling on that this year. And then in addition to our flagship area, one of the other properties we'll be focusing on, which I'll just show you right now again, is our Betty property. This one here is very interesting where it's located. It's down to the south of our packages right here. Now, this is the Coffee deposit that's being advanced by Pierre Lassonde and Newmont and Agnico. It's right along the same structure here. It's contiguous. And we've made a very high grade discovery with holes such as 50 meters of 3.5 grams from surface and grades up to 5 grams per ton over 20 meters. It's in an oxide. It looks very similar. Obviously, where it is in location to this exceptional project is really encouraging, and we're very excited to continue to work on that. And there's been a couple other similar type earlier stage gold discoveries, which we'll be drilling for the first time. What I sort of see this project, and someone else made this comment, but it really resonates. White Gold really is somewhat of a super junior. You're getting the opportunity and the access to what could be 5 or 10 different juniors all within one. So that's been really exciting for us. The flip side is what we realize is we're not getting the full value for our company, for a couple of reasons. One is I think our story has been relatively unknown. We've been financing it just amongst Agnico and ourselves. We really haven't been able to get the story out to the investment community. We've spent a lot more time on doing that recently, more events like this, in addition to working more closely with the larger financial institutions. We've just actually recently received institutional research coverage from Clarus Securities. That had a 450 target with pathway for seeing the company getting up to $9 to $12. So we're really encouraged. It's a great report. If you have access to that, or please let us know. And that's the type of potential we see here. So because though, however, today we're still trading at a fairly significant discount to our peers such as Fuerte and Snowline, notwithstanding the fact that we have the highest grade deposit, I think some of the best growth potential, and we're in an area where we can see fairly near-term type production. If we're trading at a discount based on our known resources, that means we're really getting no value for some of our other projects. So to unlock some of that value, what we've just announced recently is we will be spinning out the projects where we've made critical mineral discoveries. There's 5 of them. The main critical minerals we've had discoveries are copper, molybdenum, tungsten, bismuth, antimony, and a little bit of silver. And I think that's a really great way for us to be able to streamline our operations and focus and build new teams around those. These projects have seen significant amounts of work over the last several years. I would say of the ones, if I have limited time here to focus on, is our Bridget property. It's right here. It was started, the target was originally identified with our soil sampling. We've done significant amount of geophysical work in the last couple of years, and it has now identified what we believe to be a porphyry target, which could lead to a very large porphyry type system. Now, what's even more encouraging by that is its very close proximity to the Casino deposit here owned by Western Copper and Gold. This is, as I mentioned, the largest undeveloped copper project in Canada. These porphyries typically happen in clusters. So we believe, the potential for these types of projects are very significant, and we're really encouraged to be moving forward with that spin-out opportunity. You'll see here on this map, it's all the properties that are highlighted in pink are the ones that will be going into our spin-out, and the shares of that spin-out will be distributed to our shareholders. If you're a shareholder of White Gold, you will be getting shares in this new company, and we're hoping to complete that process within the first half of this year. And these targets here are also hosted in a very well-known copper belt. So in addition to the casino, there's a number of other very significant copper deposits, all hosted in around this Big Creek fault. For as excited as the world is these days about precious metals, I think the interest in copper and the critical minerals are as much, if not more. And so we're very fortunate to have this enormous land package that's been so prospective. We've been so successful in the work we've done to date, and we're incredibly optimistic about the ability to unlock further value for our shareholders here. So that's the White Gold overview. I guess I'll flip to some questions here, and to the extent I do not have the opportunity to answer your question, I will encourage you to, I think there's a way we can get back to you, and we'll do that by email, or please reach out to us at any time. We always encourage people to do that, and we're very grateful and generous with their time and love speaking to shareholders directly. One question is Agnico involved with the strategy? Do they provide any resources to your projects beyond validation? Yeah, Agnico has been a great partner. They're incredibly involved. We work sort of hand in hand with them in defining our strategy and interpreting our results. So they're great to have. Obviously, the capital they provided is of great interest. Seeing them invest in our neighbor Fuerte, I think, also speaks to their views on the Yukon, and we're really encouraged to be able to see one of the best mining companies on the planet be so interested in our company. Question, give a rough estimate of the cost of production of 1 ounce of gold. What I can say is stay tuned. We'll have our preliminary economic assessment published in a few months, and you will be able to see it there. What I can estimate is that with the unique high grade of this deposit and the fact that it comes to surface, I think that should be indicative of a very competitive gold production price for us. How does the development of the coffee project impact White Gold? Tremendously. It is part of that development will bring in this road system, which cuts right through our package. Again, I believe that unlocks the leverage to this district that we own, which is what makes White Gold such a unique opportunity. So it is tremendous from that perspective. It's also been very beneficial, or I think will be, just bringing more attention to the area. Pierre Lassonde, Agnico, Newmont, these are some of the most highly regarded mining investors and mine builders, in the world. And I think, they have a great following, and that's going to bring more attention to our area, as will the advancement of the casino project. They just did a very large financing today, actually, and it's great to see, the continued interest from the investment community in our area. Is there an official date for the spin-out? Not yet. That will be announced, though, in very short order. We're just going through some of the regulatory approvals, but it's an agenda item we're looking to conduct as soon as possible with our exploration season coming up here. How much cash do you have, and are you funded for your 2026? Yes, so we have about 20 million in cash, and we are fully funded for this exploration program that I mentioned, which should be roughly about 25,000 meters. Designed to meaningfully increase the size of our existing deposits, as well as continue to make new gold and critical mineral discoveries. What else do we have here? Okay, I think that's the most of them that I've seen. So just really appreciate the opportunity. Stay tuned. There is a lot of catalysts that will be coming over the course of 2026. You can look forward to more exploration results from our recent activities. The Made in PEA, which I think has the potential to be a watershed moment for the company. We will be, doing a lot more marketing over the course of the next several weeks, as we now have closer relationships with the institutional community and research. That has opened a lot of doors, and I think a lot of these investors who own some of these other great companies within the Yukon, as they see White Gold and learn about it and understand this value differential, we're pretty encouraged to hopefully bring some of those people into our share register. The preliminary economic assessment, again, looking forward to that. And then probably what's exciting me the the most is having this new drill program underway. Dylan's really opened our eyes to even more opportunity than we knew that it existed. It is the largest in the history of the company. We believe the opportunity is very real to significantly increase our deposit this year and demonstrate further upside opportunity, as well as continue to make new discoveries. Like, we are literally just scratching the surface here. We've never been more confident on the opportunity to make more and more discoveries. I do truly believe the team has cracked the code. And as we continue to grow our team, I think we'll continue to unlock our value. The addition of Donovan Pollitt as a strategic advisor, I think he'll be a tremendous value add. He really has a very unique skill set that spans both technical expertise and the ability to advance these projects in that capacity, as well as his tremendous relationships within the capital markets community. So, everything's sort of happening. We're in an environment with strong commodity prices, excellent support from the governments of all levels, and we couldn't really ask for a more prospective time to be doing this type of work. So really appreciate everyone's attention, and stay tuned.